name is Adrian Nanchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification right next to it for the latest uploads. Now, what should you go about spending your money on? Interesting concept. It's worth, right from the beginning, it's worth understanding that these get-rich-quick schemes, unless you're in like the management or the guy that started it, or this guy that goes from one thing to another with like a massive following and gets massive subscribers and a massive downline instantly, generally speaking it's not worth for you. And besides, as a side note, the real money is in the community. The money isn't made selling the product or selling the service, it's in the community. You got these people that know, like and trust you. Well, write a book, flog it to them. You made a lot more money than you would have just got from flogging the stuff. But also at the same time, if you got massive following, well, different question, different equation then. But you want to spend your money certainly on things that are going to give you a return. Give you a return whether like intelligence-wise, emotional-wise, like meditation, or intelligence like books or courses or mentors. Emotion-wise, mentors, meditation, yoga, things like that helps you to be centered and control your emotions and desires and what your purpose is. But then also at the same time, what you actually spend your money on, investment-wise, property, stocks, crowdfunding, bloody beyond. There's loads of shit like that, loads and loads of stuff. You want to spend your time and money, especially money, on worthwhile things. You don't want to go out there and shoot it and any other direction and spend a grand here in a strip club and a couple of grand over there in a fancy restaurant, that kind of stuff. Unless you can afford it, different question altogether. But the point is, you want to spend your money to get more money back. You want to invest your money, put it to work. You want to be the master of your money, not the other way around. Don't be a slave to it, working for it 9 to 5. You want to be the master of it instead. You want to be able to have the money working for you, deploying your capital, which is money, into the world, so the capital returns more capital back. It interest and it compounds. That's what you want, because that allows you to be more frivolous. That is increasing your income. Increasing your income disproportionately to the size of your outgoings. So if your income is increasing, if it's a 2 to 1 for example, you're going to get £2 income for every £1 you spend. You scale that out. You scale that out to 200, for example, and 100 over here. You know, you're laughing to the bank more or less. You do 1,000 here and 2,000. Oh wow, we're getting some 10,000, 20,000. Oh wow, you're talking now. That's what you want to focus your money. That's what you want to spend your money on. Education as well. I did this course a few years ago on forex market and trading. Wasn't for me in the end, but you can always salvage that knowledge and say, now I understand more how the world and the economy and how the markets work, which is always salvageable for the future, for today. But also at the same time, yourself as well, your mental well-being, your stability, because there's no point in having all this money. There's no point in making £2, but then your expenses increase to £3, or £3. Because you're blowing your money, you're spending more than you're bringing in. So you're managing it wrong then. Your emotions are not balanced, or you're not having a full appreciation for money. So you need to look at the emotional side of it, but also taking more stuff. So this is how to create it. This is how to make it. And if this is in tech, under control, so to speak, then you'll go crazy with it. This is why a lot of people that win the lottery, and then like a year or 2 or 3 later, they've gone bankrupt or lose it all, simply because if you can't mentally handle £1,000, then you will not be able to handle 10,000 or 100,000 or £1,000,000. On my podcast a few episodes ago, somebody asked at the end, the question is, what would you do with £40,000 or $50,000 or euros? I can't remember. And then I asked that of the next guest. And then my answer to it initially was like investing it and allocating different amounts and different percentages and different reasons. And I asked someone close, what would they do with £30,000 or 40,000? They had no clue. They had no clue. And it's like, well, if you had no clue with £30,000, what about 20? No, I didn't ask the question, but hypothetically, 20. Oh, what about 10? Oh, same with you. What is a large sum of money? To me, a large sum of money is £1 billion. And the story behind that is, years ago I was watching a TV news article about how many plastic bags that are being made in the UK, and they were saying, oh, every year more than, and this is like that's 10 years old, and I completed this sentence as the news article was talking, more than 1 million bags are made a year, and they said more than 1 billion bags are made a year, and it's like, whoa, 1 billion, whoa, age like 9 or 10 or whatever, never come across that word before, and it's like, whoa, that's a big number. And now, as a side note, when you hear these articles like we're investing 20 million here, 50 million there, 700 million there, 500,000 here, it's like, oh, whatever. Investing 2 billion, oh, that's quite, that's more serious now. So what is a large number to you? For me, it's 1 billion. So if I start talking about 2 or 3 billion, it's like, that's a large amount of money. Nothing to be sniffed at. I mean, snuffed at or sneezed at. And Norway's like 200 million, but what's 200 million compared to 1 billion? Forget about it. But what is like a large number to you, and that will determine like what your response and how you think and how you feel towards money. Because it's worth also understanding that money has no power over you. The only power it has over you is the power you give it. It's a piece of paper. It's a piece of plastic. It's just cut out pieces of metal. It's a digit on a screen. That's all it is. In fact, now it's like fiat currency, so it's like fictitious, really. And with fractional reserve lending, well, forget about it. The bank money is just like compounding and exponential. That's a completely different thing. It's like valueless almost. But face value is something, but like material-wise or scrap metal-wise, forget about it. So you want to focus your time and money on creating more money, and don't go crazy with it either. You go crazy with it, and that's the day you'll start to regret. Had I not done that thing, I wouldn't be in this shitty situation today, so to speak. So the question of the day to you is, how are you managing your money? How are you managing your money, and what is a big number for you? How are you managing your money, and what is a big number for you? Comment below, very curious. In the meantime, however, press the subscribe button below and press the bell notification right next to it for the latest uploads. How cool is that?